Hey, yep, I'm back to my apartment, as you can see, guys. Now in my cozy little apartment. I got Spencer back here, and there are a few movies that I will have to catch up. Well, not all of them. At least this week I gave myself the decency to watch a movie that I was kinda waiting for it, and I was lucky enough that it was showing on the movie theater near me. And, you know, it's been a while since I've been to the movie theaters, and because of you know what. Don't worry, I keep myself on regulations. Actually, this time I was the only person in the movie theater, which is good. So what movie I decided to watch this week? I watched The Croods, A New Age, the sequel to another DreamWorks movie called The Croods. Actually, I got the Blu-ray of the first movie. And you can tell that the reason why I actually really like this movie enough to buy it on Blu-ray. 2 words. Chris Sanders is involved. I already told you that I do have a lot of respect to Chris Sanders. I still love Lilo and Stitch. How to Train Your Dragon is my favorite DreamWorks franchise. Sorry about that. Not everything is gold with Chris Sanders. I mean, this year he gave us Call of the Wild, and while it was a good movie, they had some questionable effects that some things make me question. You can watch my review about it. So, before I get to the review of the movie, what do I think about the first Croods? I really like the settings. I really like the character designs. I really like the message that it brought. It was one of those movies that I watched it twice in the movie theater because I remember that it was during that year that I was having some kind of depression during this time, and this is one of those movies that helped me out to overcome that. It was kind of like a silly movie about cavemen trying to survive, and then of course they meet another caveman who is smarter, and I'm not gonna reveal exactly about the movie because at this point, if you're watching this review and you're curious about it, you probably have seen the first movie. So basically, I'm gonna tell you mostly some of the few bases of the series, and also what do I think about this new movie, what was it, The Croods, A New Age. Here's my thought about this new movie. It's been a while since I saw actually a good movie on the big screen, considering the situations. Because the last movie I saw on a movie theater is The New Mutants, and how disappointing that was. So it was a little bit of a big of fresh air of watching something that actually made me laugh, made me enjoy. But if I have to go a little bit on technicalities, well, still it is a good movie. It kind of suffers because Chris Sanders is not even one of the directors of this movie. It's another guy. And you can tell the direction that it went. This time, it kind of went a little bit too much on being a little bit too hip and a little bit too humorous. That it kind of sacrifices a little bit of the heart that the last movie had. So basically, it kind of got the DreamWorks sweet seal of quality of trying to become humorous more than making a heartfelt movie. Unlike which it kind of makes a little bit of a contrast with the other one. saying it's a bad thing. At least there are some things that they kept, thank goodness. But you can still tell that they still wanted to amuse, you know, the younger audiences and don't wanted to make it as harsh as possible. That, well, I have to, in order to talk about it, I have to talk to you from the very beginning. So for uninitiated, who are the Croods? Well, it is this family of cavemen, in which we have, of course, the father named Grog. He is played by Nicolas Cage, which is another reason why you should support this movie, because the more movies you support Nicolas Cage, the more movies he does. And well, the first movie is about the Croods family. You know, they're just being a shelter, and they live in a cave because, of course, the outside world is really dangerous until they meet this guy named Guy. Of course, he's played by Ryan Reynolds, who he's kind of like a more intelligent kind of caveman. Who in the first movie he was running away from technically Pangea, the world evolving and everything, and he basically stole the hearts of all of the family in order to not live a secluded life, and they just keep going forward, and according to him, they just ventured to see tomorrow. I'll get into that, what he means by that. And of course, he forms a relationship with the daughter, Eve. Her name Eve. She's played by Emma Stone. And of course, it took a while for to form a friendship with Grog, the father, because he's basically a caveman, with pretty stubborn. But basically, I'm talking about the first movie. So the second movie is kind of like a continuation of this where we left off, in which everyone is settled down, but of course Guy and Eve, they finally start to build up their relationship so much that they are thinking that probably they must form their own pack, technically leaving the family to make their own family. And of course, Grog being the stubborn father, he is practically kind of overprotective of his daughter. But things get turned into a change when they find out kind of like a farm, a paradise, and a house, and they meet this other family of cavemen called the Bettermans, in which the patriarch of the family, he's voiced by Peter Dinklage. But basically, it's kind of like a more modern, hippie-ish family who at first welcomes them, and of course they have a history with Guy, since these are the family who took care of him when he lost his parents on a tar pit. It has this Peter Dinklage, his wife, and the daughter named Dawn. And so they settle in because, you know, having a treehouse paradise that really looked like you are probably in the set of Secret of Mana. How can I say? It's kind of hard to me to explain. They're basically kind of like a very caveman family and a kind of like a modern hippish family, a little bit reminiscent to the Flintstones, and of course a little bit of this typical two family feuds happen, in which they like it, they don't like it. The other is like, ugh, those cavemen, and they were like, ugh, I can't get too much into it. That's basically the basic story, and I kind of like that they don't overstay too much on, you know, staying on one place. Later they kind of move in which the plot advances involving monkeys that punches each other, and that's basically the the least I could say without trying to spoil the movie. And honestly, it's kind of amusing. It is a good concept. I like the themes that it has. In this case, it's about two families who in their own way, one is a little bit more advanced than the others, and they don't feel comfortable with each other despite trying their best. Guy is basically kind of like in the middle of these people. It's something that in order to talk straight about this movie, is that I just watch it, and it's been a while since I could talk to you, straight up. But basically, yeah, that's pretty much it. There are a few things that I do want to mention about this movie. Is that as much as I like it, I can't help it to kind of compare it to the previous films, and it's mostly on this kind of like in the style of humor, the style of storytelling that it has, because there are some things that this second movie kind of lacks compared to this one. And it kind of shows because of the changing of directors, at least in my opinion. Oh yeah, and to get out of the way, again, it's pointless to talk about animation and music because it's always good. But I do want to tell that one of the things that I love about the Croods is the design of the creatures, because the more you see the creatures and the kind of animals that they have in that world, it's great. I love the design. Sometimes they kind of mix two animals into one, kind of like woozles. Like for example, I do want to mention that there are wolves mixed with spiders, and as eerie that it sounds, they are really cute. I can't lie about that. Oh yeah, and there are of course this tribe of monkeys that they are probably some of the funniest moments that there is. But I do want to tell you that if you've seen the trailer, there is this monkey that had this smile. He goes like, that's actually the probably the greatest monkey design you can see. Oh man. Okay, but I was gonna talk to you about why this second movie has a little bit lost its touch compared to the first movie, even though it doesn't necessarily harm the film. Because this second movie, A New Age, it tries to be a little bit more comedic in tone, but also it tried to become a little bit more hip or in the style of humor that it has. Trying to have some modern jokes, kind of like the Flintstones, let's say. But you know that in the Flintstones, sometimes they use primitive objects, but it kind of is similar to the modern appliances that we got. Like for example, using the remote controls with a bird to turn on the television and so on and so on. In this case, they do the same, kind of a little bit more, how can I say, primitive, let's say. Not technically in your face like the Flintstones. A little bit more clever than that. But unlike the first movie, this one they overuse it a little bit too much. I do remember that in the first movie they do add that, but it's more in conjunction to the evolution of the species. Like the first one is like, look, let me show you how to use shoes, or he uses a sloth as belt because it's named Belt, and it sticks that way. In this case, they kind of a little bit push it a bit too far. Like for example, they managed to create caveman style showers or caveman style the farms or after caveman style saunas. A little bit too modernized, and there is this running gag in which technically is one gets obsessed with television, but it's not television. It's is just the window, and he's like, "Oh, I want to watch the window." And then when he has to go out, he's always carrying a frame of a picnic basket to watch it like a tablet. Yeah, that's technically one of those modern jokes that they use on this movie, in which it's forgiving. I can forgive that, but again, I can't help but compare it to the other one. Another thing I want to tell is that I think the handling of the themes could have been a little bit, how can I say, heavier in this film, because if I had to compare it with the other one, because the first movie felt like there was indeed one plot in which when you get to technically the sadder and the heartfelt moments, you do feel it. It has strong, really strong moments. This second one, it does have the strong moments when it's about heartfelt moments, but in a way, it doesn't feel as strong. But you know that there is, because I know that they wanted to showcase a little bit of the theme about Grog trying to let go of his daughter, and also the two families who are different, trying to get along, or also there was also a little bit of a wasted potential, in which we have the daughter of the better sons, the Dawn, who she was also like Eve in the past. She also felt locked down on her home, so she wants to get out adventuring, which it does pay off, but it doesn't feel too centered on it. It doesn't feel so focused. And there's also, the romance between Eve and Guy, who Guy is practically embracing the modern appliances and the modern life of the Pedersons. And of course we got technically the matriarch of the Pedersons, who she kind of gave out a little bit of vibe that she's gonna become the antagonist of the film, but luckily they didn't go that way. Yeah, and funnily enough, there is an antagonist in the movie. Well, not for the entire movie, but there is kind of like a monstrous force in that movie. But I think the last movie has a stronger antagonist, which is basically the Earth changing. And this one, let's say that it's a monster. Yes, there is a monster in this movie, in which it had. Oh yeah, I know that I probably might spoil it a little, but I do have to ask. It has to do with how they prevent monkeys attacking them, and it's because the guy, the Pedersen's patriarch, he explicitly prohibits anyone to eat bananas, even though that goes against Grog, because he loves bananas. For me, I wouldn't mind because I hate bananas, but still, here's the problem that I have. If you don't want your bananas eaten, tell them why. Tell them why. This is something of a cliche of cartoons, in which sometimes you tell them, don't do that. Why? Because why? I can't tell you. Why not? Or why don't you even ask? Why? No? This is if there's only my weakest part of the movie that I have is next time be a little bit more clever or more intelligent on saying why you don't touch the bananas. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's a little bit nitpicky. It doesn't, it still doesn't harm the movie in which basically it has these kind of Flintstone appliances humor, or sometimes you're gonna see a wig that is used as a drone, and almost by the climax of the movie, you're gonna see kind of a little bit of a heavy metal cover inspired moment in which, well, let's say that the word Thunder Sisters is gonna be stuck on your mind. Yeah, that's pretty much I have to say. So, do I recommend the Croods A New Age? If you want to have a little bit of a fun time, yes, I do recommend it. Considering that even though we are in this era, I think it is a nice watch. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it too. Please keep supporting movies in which Nicolas Cage in it, because the more we see Nicolas Cage acting like a caveman, the better. Dun dun dun!
Yo nací en esta tierra de las bellas palmeras, de cristalinos ríos, de paisajes ideal. Nací en ella y la quiero, y por ella aunque muera, la vida yo la diera por no verla sufrir. Guayaquileño, madera de guerrero, bien franco, muy valiente, jamás siente el temor. Guayaquileño de la tierra más linda, pedacito de suelo de este inmenso Ecuador. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción. En mi tierra hay mujeres muy lindas y serenas, hay rubias, hay morenas y todas son canción. Por eso con orgullo le canto yo a mi tierra, porque lo que ella encierra es honra de Ecuador. Guayaquileño, madera de guerrero, bien franco, muy valiente, jamás siente el temor. Guayaquileño de la tierra más linda, pedacito de suelo de este inmenso Ecuador. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción. Guayaquileño, madera de guerrero, bien franco, muy valiente, jamás siente el temor. Guayaquileño de la tierra más linda, pedacito de suelo de este inmenso Ecuador. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción. Guayaquileño, no hay nadie quien te iguale, como hombre de coraje, lo digo en mi canción.